The time is here. Absolute Batman issue 14 is out, and with this is the conclusion of the most recent arc, the Bane arc, with the climactic battle between Absolute Batman and Absolute Bane. And not only that, this issue got even more hyped because I believe it got delayed by 2 weeks due to Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta wanting to add 5 additional pages for this fight. This is almost 30 full pages of this issue. It is fantastic as we get not only the conclusion to this new rivalry for these characters, but also this epic conclusion to this arc, seeing what could potentially happen to Bane and now the future of Gotham is completely unknown. But let's not stand around here gawking. Let's jump right into this video. But before that, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and hype the video up. Really helps and shows you guys want me to do more of these videos in the future. I got a lot of stuff planned for the future of this channel, so I really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel and helped us reach that 1,000 subscriber mark. Now then, let's jump into issue 14 of Absolute Batman. Now this kind of starts off with the first page being a jump between the past and the present of Batman getting ready for some tests on running Venom on him, with Alfred basically trying to get him to test out how much his body can handle when it comes to the Venom that is installed in the system due to his time in Arc M. And after this, we see a double-page spread with the conclusion of this Abomination storyline, showcasing a Batman infused with the first real shot of Venom, and this looks sick as hell. This looks, I mean, look, it's edgy, but it's the good kind. It is just absolute insanity. But the issue continues with the news reporting on Batman's broadcast at the end of the previous issue. If you want to see what happened in the previous issues of Absolute Batman, I got a playlist with all the Absolute Batman issues from issue 1 up until 13 in their own separate videos and compilation videos, so go check that out if you want to recap. But this ends up showcasing that the news is trying to cover what Batman said, but Mayor Hill is trying to say that it's all a hoax, Batman's a terrorist, there is no fight or anything, there are no monsters in Gotham, and yeah, he's trying to convince the people that nothing that Batman said is true and trying to maintain his control over the people. But Hill tells Harvey that no one's gonna get close to the stadium no matter what. Only Batman and Bane will be there. We then cut to Barbara as she is sitting in her apartment, from what it seems, as she looks at the helmet that Bruce left behind at the end of the Zoo arc when Barbara let him go, hoping that Batman has a damn good plan for this. As we cut to Arc M with Bane walking away, heading towards the stadium to face Bruce in their climactic battle, with Dr. Arkham saying just how much stronger Bane has gotten, with how Venom has basically been more compatible with his body than it ever has before, and his body just keeps growing and growing. And if Bruce is just like him, then yeah, Bane after this fight, this one last fight, can not only rest but potentially retire and have Bruce be his replacement. That has been the plan since Bruce broke into Arc M. And now we cut to the stadium as we start some really interesting pieces of storytelling. You'll get cuts from Wayland's fight against Bilbo in his big champion boxing match that we saw in the previous chapters, but also cutting it with Batman's fight against Bane, as obviously it's in the same arena, but also thematically makes a lot of sense for this to be a big climactic fight for Bruce. Bane enters the arena all ready to fight as Harley and the Red Hoods light up the stadium with lights, as now in the center it's just Batman and Bane meeting face to face. Alfred reminds Bruce from an outside location that in order to keep to the plan, in order for Bruce to have him make Bane use up or hit his limits when it comes to Venom so that they can wear him down, in order for Bruce to use his dose of Venom at the last second, his last dose out of the 2 that he had previously left in him, in order to defeat Bane once and for all. And so Harley then ends up using a bunch of drones with cameras to broadcast this fight seemingly to everybody in Gotham City, obviously to showcase what Batman can do. All again intercut with the boxing fight with Wayland. As Bane gets close, telling Bruce his move, Bruce steps on a pad on the ground as we hear a big boom, and then we see in a nearby, from what I can tell, abandoned building, Bruce blew up a building and it is now falling down as it falls right on top of Bane, as all Bane does is chuckle while Batman says, "I call this move welcome to Gotham." And oh man, that is crazy. But out from the rubble with the Batmobile in tow, Bane is venomized, hulking out basically, as now he is ready to take on Bruce, as he knows what Bruce is trying to do. But Alfred hooks the Batmobile to behind behind Bane and rams into him and goes off to the side. But as this happens, we get some instances of the venom basically overtaking more of Bane's blood as he is still using more venom to power himself up. Bane rings in the Batmobile, throws it away. But Bruce then lunges out towards Bane, pierces him in the eye with the tendril of his cape, and then brings out his left eye. I should warn you, this fight is actually kind of brutal, but still really awesome. Batman then locks onto the back of Bane and then uses the batarangs or the bat blades in his cowl and slices the back of Bane. And just the sheer size of Bane now, a real David and Goliath situation, as he rips up with more venom being infused into his system. Bane slams Batman into the ground multiple times as he wants him to keep fighting with all he can. But Batman tells Harley now, as now the Green Machine is open, as now Waylon Jones, Killer Croc, absolute Killer Croc, jumps out of the pit next to Batman and lunges forward with his giant mouth and then wrangles around Bane, grabbing him and biting into him to try and gash as much of him out as possible to bite him to death. And we see from previously and now that Bane keeps growing in size more and more with the venom, and he's still regenerating his eye, regenerating all the cuts and bruises. Batman takes his axe and tries to cut off Bane's limbs, but Bane throws Batman into the stadium. As we keep cutting back and forth with Waylon's fight in his boxing match to the present, as things are on the ropes, seemingly in parallel with Batman. Now Harley says, "You want an inspirational speech, but all I can say is, well, you should probably get your ass up there and keep fighting. You cool?" And Batman says, "Yeah, cool." And so he goes in to try and help Waylon, as now Bane wrangled free from Waylon and is seemingly getting ready to basically Mortal Kombat fatality and rip Waylon in half from the mouth down, completely bisecting him. And so Batman jumps forward to go help Waylon. But intercut with this, we see that Alfred is telling Bruce that Bane keeps pumping himself with more and more venom, and it doesn't seem he's hitting a limit, and that he might not even have a limit left. And so Batman says that for now, they gotta stick to the plan, even though Alfred is basically telling him to use the last bit of venom in order to have a remote chance. And obviously we get more parallels with Batman going into the fight with Waylon to basically tell him that he's here with him. Batman jumps up, and before Bane can end up taking Waylon out, Batman comes in and slashes right through Bane's spine. He lets go of Waylon. Waylon goes to Bruce with Bane falling flat on the ground. Bruce tells Waylon to get out of there for now, and he goes up to Bane, climbing up his back, as he severed a part of his spine, and now he can't use his legs anymore, but it's alright. Bane still has his arms. But Batman takes his axe and cuts off parts of his arms, severing the tendons, as now Bane can't use his arms. But hey, he keeps taunting him, saying that he can still bite at him with his mouth. But Bane gets enraged as the venom keeps exploding and going through his system as he gets bigger and his body regenerates again, looking more and more monstrous, more like an abomination, as it seems that Bane has higher limits to the venom as they previously thought, even more so. He grabs Batman now with full use of his tendons again, slams him into the ground, and says, "You think you're better than me? You think you can win? You're nothing," as he keeps pummeling Bruce into the ground over and over again, saying that he's nothing, to the point where he is literally a giant Goliath of flesh, no clothes on him at this point right by now, with venom basically overtaking all of his blood. As he says, "Me, I've given everything. Also, many people, my people and home, could be safe because this is war, all war, but I'm done. It's your turn," as he slams into Bruce even more, saying, "Your turn. Now go ahead and use your venom." With Dr. Arkham saying that she can't even believe what's going on with Bane's cells right now. They've moved beyond self-repairing and became almost embryonic, undifferentiated, and he just keeps surpassing all expectations and saying that even if Bruce is like Bane, this is still a freaking miracle in terms of science when it comes to this. And right as it seems that in the flashback and in the present, Bruce and Waylon are on the ropes and are about to lose, Bruce gets up, staring over at Bane, with Alfred even yelling that Batman has to use the venom because it's the only way for him to stay alive and win. Batman says, "Alright, you win. Want me to use the venom? I'll use it then." As beaten and bloodied, he calls out to Catwoman as she takes her machine gun and begins to fire right at Bane. As once they hit Bane, we all come to realize that what was inside these tranquilizer bullets wasn't tranquilizer, but more venom. And thus the last dosage of venom that Bruce had were in these bullets, and he fires them into Bane with Catwoman's help as he begins to fully override everything and begin to explode into a mass of flesh, as now his body has truly hit the limits of the venom. As we then cut to 2 days ago, as Selina and Bruce are with, well, the Riddler, or, well, Edward, as Eddie is taking out all of the venom from Bruce. As Bruce is saying, if I'm gonna beat Bane, I'm gonna beat him my way. Obviously, this is the last dosage of venom he has, so he never planned on using the venom in the first place. And so now everything are in vials, and we're placed into these tranquilizer rounds. So now their plan was really just to OD Bane once he basically used up as much venom as he could in order to make him go well and above his limits, so he basically explodes himself. And you know, Batman finishing him off with one nice throw of the axe to make him pop like a balloon. As we then cut back to the present, as Batman is coming out from the mass of flesh that once was Bane, with flashes of the fight with Wayland as he made a come from behind victory, and Bruce made a come from behind victory. As now Gordon was also watching, along with Bruce's mother and Harvey, as they all realize Batman don't fuck around. Now this is a much more brutal Batman, but he does it in a way that makes sense. And even Alfred is proud of Bruce and shows that he did not expect Bruce to go this way, and he's not fighting, and he basically is fighting for the fight, and fighting is the point. As we cut back to Oswald and Harvey in the hospital, with Harvey saying that Bruce got him. He beat the man's ass. As Bruce takes his Batmobile that doubles as a dump truck and takes this massive mound of flesh that once was Bane and dumps him right into the harbor, as seemingly the current takes it right towards Arc M, where he came from. We then cut to a bit later, where Selina is now on a flight out of Gotham, and it's revealed that she still has the rest of that vial of venom that they extracted from Bruce. So now Bruce is basically back to being a regular guy, well, as regular as you can be, being 6'3" and jacked like a jackhammer, essentially, as a building. But still, he's still a regular guy at heart once more. But even later, we cut back to what is called Coda, as we see Bane is alive. His brain and eyeballs are still there and still very much conscious. So they managed, from that mass of flesh, to save Bane to a degree and are trying to regenerate him. This isn't the last we've seen of Absolute Bane, but with how much he has grown and the limits of venom being truly explored to their utmost limits, they can experiment more and fine-tune it. But it's then the Joker calls, as he tells Bane that he knows that Bane wanted to retire and that he knows that he wanted the fight to end and rest. And he says he knows of a way to help give him proper motivation. Because at the end of the day, Bane never truly wanted to end fighting. According to the Joker, he didn't want the war. And so, as we see in the last pages of this issue, the Joker says that Bane is now liberated and free to fight this war unburdened and liberated. As a plane flies by Santa Prisca and is bombed and seemingly nuked out of existence in front of Bane's eyes, not only killing the country he fought for to save from a corrupt regime, the country that he killed his father for, but also his family, with the last image of the issue being of this explosion reflected in Absolute Bane's eyes, with issue 15 being titled Joker. And if we see the, tease of Absolute Joker, that's gonna be a nightmare and a half, but even still, this issue was a phenomenal fight, and I see why we needed these extra 5 pages, because this fight was epic as hell. The strategy that Batman went to, planning ahead, getting everything set up with the Batmobile, throwing an entire goddamn building onto Bane, having Wayland's help to get him to keep using venom and regenerate even more. Everything was set up to plan to make Bane use as much venom as possible, to the point where, as we saw in this issue, the venom was overtaking his blood, and it basically became more venom than man at that point. With the final nail in the coffin being Bruce deciding to take away from the plan and change it, and making it so that he extracted all the venom before the fight, and had Selina shoot up Bane with it to pop him by like a balloon to go over his maximum limit, so Batman can deal at the finishing blow. That's the end of Absolute Bane for now, but with the Joker showing up and us potentially seeing Joker's true form in issue 15, after that we get the Absolute Wonder Woman crossover, which I am absolutely excited for, no pun intended, but Bane is still around. They're going to regenerate him, they're going to bring him back, and I'm curious to see where this is going to lead for the future of Absolute Batman, because we have another like 30 issues planned out by Scott Snyder, so I cannot wait for how this run is going to plan out. But you guys let me know your thoughts on issue 14 and the conclusion of the Abomination arc, the Absolute Bane arc, or the Arc M arc, whatever we want to call it. Let me know in the comments section down below what you thought of this and what you're looking forward to in the future. And once more, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. And with all that said and done, hope you all have an awesome day.